From Recorded Future News and PRX, this is Click Here.
I'll just record my microphone then on the recording. I'll clap for you too so we can sync it. There you go.
But don't we have to clap together, Aidan?
You're right.
3, 2, 1, clap. Okay,
Oh.
That's pretty close.
Yeah, pretty close. Good enough.
From Recorded Future News, this is Click Here's Mic Drop, a longer listen to one of our favorite interviews of the week. I'm Dina Temple-Raston. In Tuesday's episode, we focused on a North Korean scheme to infiltrate U.S. companies. Pyongyang has dispatched a secret army of IT workers who respond to help wanted ads and get themselves hired so they can send their paychecks back to the supreme leader. And today, we're talking with Aidan Raney, an intelligence analyst who decided to go undercover and get on the inside of this program, and then tell the world what he found.
Obviously, this was a very calculated risk that I saw, but I knew that this information in the hands of the wider cybersecurity community would have much more impact.
Stay with us. Click Here is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states. I'm Dina Temple-Raston, and this is Click Here's Mic Drop. So the name of your company is Farnsworth Intelligence, right?
Yeah.
Aidan Raney is a 23-year-old CEO of a cybersecurity company. It does sound very Yale, don't you think?
I think it does, yeah. Although sometimes I get the Futurama comment that it sounds like the the name of the character from that show.
Have you a name? Hubert Farnsworth, at your service.
A Farnsworth, you say?
Aidan is an open source intelligence guy, and his clients are in a roster of different industries.
I have a lot of clients who don't necessarily know anyone who can help them, but they know I'm somebody who can help them in those type of situations.
Last year, an energy company that was one of Aidan's clients had a situation. It had just discovered one of its job applicants seemed to have ties to North Korea. Now, in Tuesday's episode, we explained that North Korea has been doing a lot of this lately. Sometimes these candidates are real-life North Koreans, using identities they bought on the dark web. And other times, these guys are Westerners who have no idea that they're being used by Pyongyang to get hard currency into the country. North Korea uses the money they make in these scams to fund their weapons program. Typically, these Westerners just set up loads of laptops, and these North Korean IT workers use them to mask their identities and the fact that their IP addresses aren't in the U.S. The operation itself is known as a laptop farm. And so if I were walking into a laptop farm, would it be like a giant room with tons of laptops?
Yeah, I would say you'd see multiple desks, and they'd just be covered in laptops. Some of the type of equipment you'd see is like you'd see quite a few different webcams because they have to have multiple of them for the different meetings they have to take. You'd probably see quite a few keyboards. You might even see a little device that acts as what's called a KVM, so they can remotely control the devices without even connecting to them. They just have to plug something in.
Got it. And so if I'm using a laptop farm, I have a laptop wherever I am, and I'm sort of using it almost the same way you'd use a VPN to make it look like you're somewhere else?
Yeah, exactly. The difference is that it's in someone's home, and so if you're connecting from a US IP address, it looks a lot better.
Often, the North Korean IT workers who are on the other end are operating out of China or Russia. Basically, anywhere that has a decent internet connection and is willing to turn a blind eye to the sanctions against North Korea. And when Aidan had a client targeted by this worker scam, it made him curious. He thought to himself, how does all this really work? And one way to get to the bottom of it, he decided, is by becoming part of it himself. So he did this very spy versus spy thing. He posed as someone eager to run one of those laptop farms.
And so we performed a human operation, a human intelligence operation.
That's when we come back. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. In a society that glorifies hyper-independence, it's easy to forget that we're all better when we have a support system behind us. Therapy can be a source of support for any area of your life. BetterHelp is making therapy more affordable and convenient. BetterHelp is fully online, serves over 5 million people worldwide, and provides access to a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists with a wide range of specialties. Build your support system with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/click here to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/click here.
Hey, I'm Joseph Cox, the host of another podcast I think you'll like, the 404 Media podcast. We're an independent news outlet covering the bleeding edge of technology, and every week we discuss our latest stories. Whether that's how AI images are taking over Facebook and fooling people, how drugs are being sold on Instagram, or the spread of AI-enabled surveillance cameras, we hold tech to account. Catch me and the rest of the 404 Media gang wherever you listen. Just search for the 404 Media podcast. Chat to you soon.
When Aidan decided to go undercover as essentially a laptop farmer, he started with a platform called Fiverr to try to get himself hired.
So Fiverr is an online freelancing platform. It's actually named after the slang for the word $5. We don't sell anything for $5 on Fiverr. Our services are much more expensive.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. But for the purposes of posing as a laptop farmer, Fiverr was perfect. Aidan had heard North Korean IT workers use this site to recruit people who can help them pose as legitimate job candidates. So he reached out to someone he thought might be one of these North Korean recruiters, and he told him he was interested in the lap farm business.
I said, hey, a friend showed me this, told me about this, and I'm interested, and why don't you tell me more? And that was the pretext. That was the lie that got me in the door.
So tell me about their vetting process for you.
I don't think there was one. I don't think they really care about the people that they get involved in this because they know that they're relatively untouchable. And all they care about is we need identity documents and we need a person. And I don't care. They don't care who it is as long as they get the money.
So who did you tell them you were?
I replied as myself. I didn't want to have to create a whole fake persona with a fake job history, fake LinkedIn, fake GitHub, and fake everything else. And so I just reached out as myself, and they never batted an eye.
A day later, he got a response. The person on the other end of the email called himself Ben, and it appears this Ben had no suspicions about Aidan at all.
I don't even think they minded that I was an intelligence analyst because I had all of this software development background. And so in a way, I also think they thought I was a big catch.
Ben said he'd love to work with Aidan, and in no time at all, they were chatting over Telegram and Discord to go over the logistics. They even had a video phone call over Google Meet.
When I got into this Google Meet call, I was not expecting them to show their face at all.
But Ben popped up on the screen. He was wearing a tracksuit and had a fake office background as his video chat wallpaper. Aidan recorded one of these sessions he had with him and shared it with us.
Will I just be doing one job, or are you going to do the overemployed thing where you do multiple remote jobs?
I think it's fine to working on more than 2 jobs. So, for example, if you're as a contractor, it's not a problem.
And then how is it going to work for when I have to pay you?
So I think we agreed 35% to you and the rest to me.
Ben said he could keep 35% of each salary to be sent using a crypto wallet or PayPal. He explained he would create a resume and a LinkedIn account for Aidan and apply for jobs on Aidan's behalf. He even gave him interview responses so that he could be prepared as the job interviews came up. And the thing about talking with Ben was that there seemed to be many Bens. Each time Aidan spoke to Ben, either by chat messenger or video chat, it seemed like he was talking to a different person. In fact, someone who talked or looked totally different.
The second call, I started it by saying, "Hey, Ben," and it was a clearly different person. They turned their camera on only for a split second before turning it back off again.
But the times the Bens did keep their cameras on, it was clear they weren't alone.
I could see people walking behind them, hovering over their shoulder at parts, right? And so I knew that they were being monitored, or at least there was some sort of supervisor walking around and
To confirm his suspicions that he was in fact talking with North Koreans, Aidan ran his findings past a North Korean defector.
look at the footage, listen to their voices, look at their appearances, the clothing they were wearing, all the TTPs, so all of the different details of the case, and basically confirm whether this matches what they know for North Koreans.
That appeared to pass muster. Aidan was also able to track IP addresses associated with the Bens, and those seemed to confirm his suspicions as well. He could see they were communicating with him from China and using a VPN program popular among North Koreans. But he wanted to do more than just gather data. He wanted to see what it would be like to actually be one of these proxies applying for jobs. So when the Bens told him last October that they'd managed to land him a job interview, Aidan readily agreed. Then they sent him prepared responses, which he followed, and it worked. The company called Aidan and told him the job was his.
They essentially said, "You got the job. It was around 70 or 80K a year. We're going to send you a letter in the morning or an email with the offer and go through the background check process."
That's when he told the company what he was really up to.
And I had to tell them right then and there. I was like, "I'm sorry, I can't. This is the situation. Here's what I'm doing. Please stop. Don't proceed."
What was their reaction?
Oh, they were a little upset.
But this was a glass half-empty, half-full situation for the company. After all, if he hadn't been an undercover applicant, they might have actually gone ahead and hired a North Korean.
From their point of view, I did waste their time. And well, I'm sure looking at it from now, they're going to understand that we wasted an hour or two of your time, but we saved so many companies maybe millions of dollars from the data we collected.
As for the Bens, Aidan told them he didn't get the job so he could keep talking to them, which he did for a few more months. But by early January, he decided to come clean. He told them that he too was working undercover, but he never got a response. Aidan shared his findings with Google's Mandia, hoping what he learned would help them help other companies. But here's the thing about intelligence work. You pull a thread and it unravels in ways you don't quite expect. Aidan went in to expose a scheme, to document tactics to help companies protect themselves. But when it was all over, what stayed with him, what lingers even now, isn't the mechanics of the operation, it's the people, the Bens. So do you still think about the Bens?
Yes. I mean, I find myself kind of dreading the idea that these people are being hurt right now. It's something that I do dwell on a little bit.
Because the Bens, whoever they really were, weren't just faceless operators behind a screen. They were watching him, and they were being watched.
My concern is that because of that, they're going to get punished or something along those lines.
And that's the part that sticks, the weight of what might come next for the Bens. From Recorded Future News, this has been Click Here's Mic Drop. It was written and produced by Erica Gaida, Megan Dietrich, Sean Powers, and me, Dina Temple-Reston. It was edited by Karen Duffin. We'll be back on Tuesday with an all-new episode of Click Here. Have a great weekend.
Looking for more of the cybersecurity and intelligence coverage you get on Click Here? Then check out our sister publication, The Record, from Recorded Future News. You'll get breaking cyber news from reporters in New York, Washington, London, and Kiev, among others. And you'll see for yourself why it attracts hundreds of thousands of page views every month. Just go to therecord.media.